Did you know for what ingenious action ninjas use their shurikens? If you like historical curiosities, don't forget to subscribe because we upload one every day. In addition to being a dangerous attack weapon, ninjas would sometimes place shurikens with distinctive marks at strategic points to leave messages or indicate safe routes. This versatility and tool usage is just one example of the creativity and cunning associated with the ninja legend. Today we're going to dive into the fascinating world of ninjas in feudal Japan. But wait a minute, before your mind is filled with images of hooded warriors leaping from rooftop to rooftop and throwing shurikens, let me tell you that what we know about ninjas might not be entirely accurate. Ninjas are figures that have captured our imagination over the years. Thanks to movies, comics and legends, we've come to have a specific picture of what they were. However, what we will discover in this video is that the reality is much more complex and surprising than we've been led to believe. So, join us on this journey as we explore the real story behind the ninjas, separating fact from fiction and unraveling the myths that have surrounded these enigmatic figures. Let's dive into the past and discover what ninjas were really like in feudal Japan. Few Japanese historical figures evoke such a clear impression as that of the ninjas, those skilled spies and stealthy assassins, hidden behind a black cloak, who were trained in the secrecy of secret communities and disguised villages in the mountains. They were like shadows, experts in vanishing and going unnoticed, capable of eliminating their adversaries and escaping before anyone understood what had happened. However, this popular image of ninjas largely derives from a reinterpretation made during the Edo period, 1603 to 1868. Writers and authors wove an idealized, and sometimes even fanciful, description of these warriors. This is the figure that literature, comics and cinema have disseminated and turned into a widely recognized symbol. In contrast, historical ninjas, those who were active in previous eras marked by wars between noble clans, are notably different. The reality of authentic ninjas is much more nuanced. These experts in martial arts and strategy played multifaceted roles in a context of constant rivalry between feudal elites. Their role was largely adaptive, and their skills were deployed according to changing circumstances. The figure that has endured in the collective imagination is a literary and cinematic confection that, while captivating, does not fully capture the historical complexity and actual contributions of ninjas in Japanese feudal society. In Japanese, the term ninja, written using characters that could also be pronounced as shinobi no mono, carries with it the meaning of those who remain hidden. It was applied to combatants who operated in secret, such as in night raid operations. It is important to note that this expression was not usually used as a noun, i.e., it did not designate a specific group of warriors, but rather as an adjective. Thus, the phrase ninja attack or shinobi attack was used to describe a sneak or surprise attack, usually carried out by a select group of warriors who managed to prevail against considerably superior forces. The ninja's skill set included skills in infiltration and sabotage, as well as strategic and guerrilla tactics. These techniques enabled the ninja to operate stealthily and effectively, navigating considerable challenges and adapting to various situations on the battlefield. The exploits of the shinobi were often astounding and left a lasting mark on history. It was through these feats that the legendary reputation of ninjas as invisible and elite warriors, capable of defeating entire armies, was forged. In reality, however, ninjas did not exist as a distinct warfare unit. To overcome their adversaries, feudal lords relied on a diverse array of agents. These included teisatsu, scouts who secretly gathered information, kisho, guerrillas sent to attack vulnerable points such as supply routes, fortifications or enemy patrols, kuran, agitators who infiltrated enemy territories to recruit discontent and sow chaos, and kancho, spies who gathered valuable information. Often, these tasks were carried out by individuals recruited on an occasional basis, as acting as ninja was often a role, not a permanent specialization. If the situation called for sowing chaos in the enemy ranks, deserters or bandits were called in, such as those who were part of the Ikudo, evil bands, who accompanied the armies to participate in the capture of booty. A priest described these individuals in 1348, mentioning that they dressed in a particular way, wearing khaki kimonos and straw hats. This diversity of roles and adaptability of the ninjas is a testament to their ability to operate in changing situations and fulfill a variety of missions, which contributed to their enigmatic and versatile history in feudal Japan. They rarely engaged in direct confrontation, opting instead to vanish carrying bamboo quivers on their backs. Their belts carried long swords with unadorned hilts and scabbards, and in their hands they carried sharp weapons made of bamboo or hardwood. No trace of breastplates or any kind of armor was observed on them. In groups of 10 or 20, they retreated to their shelters where they confronted the enemy or made alliances only to betray them later. Agreements and promises were of no interest to them. These individuals delighted in all kinds of trickery and were specialists in the art of stealing objects as they slipped stealthily through the crowds. To carry out espionage work, they resorted to informants who assumed the identities of pilgrims or wandering monks, acquiring intelligence from beyond the borders. In some cases, even temple priests became the recipients of pilgrims' confessions, gathering crucial information. The feudal lord Takeda Shingen, 1521–1573, established an espionage service composed of agents disguised as monks and priestesses, illustrating the diversity of methods used to collect vital data at the time. One of the biggest myths is that of ninja weapons. There was no such thing as a ninja weapon. Unlike the samurai, who had their trademark katana, the spies carried peasant weapons, permitted to commoners, such as sickles or short swords. Another major myth is that of the color black. The image of the ninja wrapped in his distinctive black pajamas is unmistakable. But in reality, this attire has its roots in the Japanese theater workers known as kuroko, who dressed in black and moved behind the actors on stage to remain unnoticed by the audience as the play unfolded. At a certain point, this clothing became associated with the idea of invisibility, and the ninjas began to portray themselves dressed in this way to imply that they were practically invisible. However, their authentic appearance was much more ordinary. The Shoninki, a 17th century treatise on ninjas, included the suggestion to wear clothes in shades of brown, dark red, black or dark blue, colors that were common at the time. In certain circumstances, a dark cloth could also be used to cover the face and ink could be applied to the skin. Thus, the actual appearance of the ninjas was more in line with the usual colors of the time, in contrast to the iconic modern image of black pajamas. This is an example of how historical reality can diverge from popular perceptions that have become ingrained in our collective understanding. So where does the image of the ninja we all know come from? Beginning in the 17th century, in Japan that had been pacified under the rule of the Tokugawa shoguns, the military exploits of feudal warriors began to fade. In their place, various authors emerged to revive that heroic past, endowing their protagonists with an idealized aura. It was thus that the heirs of the ninja tradition codified their supposed talents in treatises, consolidating what is known as ninjutsu or the art of stealth. Through this discipline, they sought to reaffirm the relevance of samurai in roles such as informers or elite guards at the service of the shogun. One such author was Fujibayashi Yasutake, a 17th century ninja master, who referred to samurai who took on the role of ninja or shinobi as shinobi no samurai or ninshi no samurai, which translates as warriors who hide. According to Yasutake, the strategy for defeating overwhelming enemy forces while employing small numbers, and defeating formidable opponents, lay in flexibility and adaptability. In his view, there was nothing more effective than the use of shinobi to achieve this. Over time, the image of the ninja became widely disseminated in literature, theater and the visual arts. This fictional portrayal eventually morphed in the Japanese mind into that of a feudal-era superhero, capturing the imagination of generations and establishing an iconic figure that endures in popular culture to this day. And so concludes our journey through the enigmatic world of ninjas in feudal Japan. I hope you have enjoyed this tour through the history and truths behind the popular image of the shinobi. As we explore their multifaceted role in the society of the time, we have unraveled the myths and realities surrounding them. Remember, ninjas were much more than just hooded warriors. Their versatility, adaptability and ability to operate in the shadows made them key players in a world of constant change and conflict. From their strategies of infiltration and sabotage to their roles as informants and elite guards, ninjas wove a unique and fascinating story that continues to captivate us to this day. If you have been interested in this historical exploration and would like to learn more about different aspects of the past, feel free to subscribe and leave your comments. Keep watching to enjoy a bonus track about the curiosities of the ninja's world. Did you know that ninjas were true masters of disguise? If you like historical curiosities, don't forget to subscribe because we upload one every day. Ninjas were known for their skill in the art of nawanuk no jutsu, which translates to the art of escaping from ropes. This not only referred to their ability to free themselves from physical restraints but also their skill in shedding any clothing that could identify them. In certain situations, ninjas could dress as peasants, merchants, or even women to blend in seamlessly in urban environments or infiltrate places without arousing suspicion. This ability to adopt different identities and contexts contributed to their reputation as masters of stealth and infiltration.